Man, I've been putting this video off for a very long time. Hi guys, it's How's everyone doing? Good, I hope. This video is really important to me and hopefully a lot of you guys out there as well. I've been putting it off for a very long time. I am going to talk about the most recent formulation of Samsara by Guerlain. So, quick introduction. If you didn't know already, Samsara is actually my favourite perfume in the entire world, but I am reaching a point where I feel like I might have to let it go. I might have to leave it behind and let something else take its place. Fragrances are getting reformulated left, right and centre. Samsara has been the victim of, I would say, probably 3, possibly even 4 reformulations, and I hold it very dear to my heart. It's a very important fragrance to me. It came out in 1989. It's an Oriental woody, and not only is it my favourite Oriental perfume, it is my favourite perfume ever. It's connected to me in a lot of ways. I was 9 years old when it came out. My mother wore it, a friend of mine wore it. It's a glorious, sensual, sandalwood, jasmine, ylang ylang, violet, everything. Amazingness. I will put the notes here, I won't go through them. This isn't a review of the fragrance, I've already done that. One of the first reviews I ever did, actually. Go and check it out if you want to see Baby Tom reviewer. But I felt it necessary to review the newest one because it's a hugely popular fragrance for good reason. It's amazing. So, I managed to get some of the new formula. This has been a scary process. You know, sometimes when you love something so much, you don't ever want it to change. And it just happens. It's tough. Tough titties, everyone. Tough titties. So I wanted to talk to you about the differences. I have had many formulations of it. I currently own the Vintage Eau de Toilette. I currently own the Vintage Eau de Parfum. They come in clear bottles. I also owned the dark red bottles, which are my favourite bottles, not favourite formulation. And now this new one. These new ones come in a different bottle now. They're the Guerlain B bottles, they're called. It's like a frosted glass thing. Picture here somewhere, I don't know where it's going to be, but you will see it. And yes, they've changed it again. Quite often when fragrance companies reformulate fragrances or they repackage them, they've reformulated them, and it's one of my biggest bugbears in the fragrance world where they're not transparent about it. They don't tell you. Sales assistants will tell you, it's the same. It's not, okay? Sometimes it is, okay, but most of the time it isn't. And so I wanted to do it because it's my favourite fragrance and I feel like I owe it to her to do a review about it. So, when I first sprayed this on my hand, all is well. All is good in the land of Samsara. Oh, by the way, it's Sanskrit for rebirth, reincarnation, evolving, coming back from the dead. It's about rebirth. Anyway, when I first sprayed this on, all is good and well in the world of Samsara. There's nothing you can do that can take away the beauty of this fragrance to me. It's still as beautiful as it is. It has ever been, I should say. What's happened mainly from the beginning of Samsara to the middle of the road was the sandalwood. The sandalwood was the biggest change. The original formula had Mysore sandalwood in it, which is kind of regarded as the best quality or the most sensual and the most luxurious sandalwood you can buy. But as far as I know, it's over-harvested. You don't find Mysore sandalwood in many things anymore. But it was the crux of the fragrance. It was what gave it its sensual flow, its amazing character, its sensuality, its sexiness, all of that. So that was compromised in the middle of the road when the red bottles came out. The new one is like it's gone another step backwards in terms of the sandalwood again. And at first it's great. Sorry, it's actually wet on this side. I just sprayed it again. At first I feel everything. I feel that it feels like the red bottles. It feels, I can feel everything. I can feel violet, I can feel ylang ylang, I can feel the flowy sensuality that Samsara has. You know, it's still Samsara. But what happens is, and the main difference between all of the others and this new one to me, is like it is Samsara fast forwarded. So I guess you could say, Samsara! It feels like it gets to the dry stages of what the original one was way faster, and it feels like the vanilla is ramped up a lot as well. So this is an altogether sweeter one. I have to make a point of, my skin always amps vanilla quite a lot anyway. That's why I avoid vanilla fragrances as much as I can. So maybe on you it might be different, but I feel like the process of wearing Samsara, which used to be a gradual, gorgeous warming up of precious woods and jasmine and exoticness, kind of is dampened and it's sped up ×5. And sometimes, as much as vanilla is beautiful, it can, I think, ruin a fragrance. When vanilla takes over everything, it's just vanilla in it. It can add too much sweetness. I've always viewed Samsara as a woody, an oriental woody, a floral oriental woody with crispness, not Christmas. Crispness, sharpness, sensual, gorgeous exoticness that made me be transported to another world. And this has got, it feels like the vanilla is more prominent. And the sandalwood is obviously compromised. Sandalwood is not a cheap ingredient, and Samsara is obviously mass produced, unfortunately, so they're going to cut corners again. Yes, it's in a cute little bottle now, but the essence of Samsara is what makes it the best. The core of it, the sultriness of it is what I loved. And this one, after about 2 hours, it's a super vanillic, kind of synthetic sandalwood thing. Still with the lovely violet, still with the ylang ylang, still jasmine. It still feels like Samsara, but it gets there too quickly. So let's talk about longevity. One thing I will say is, the longevity I don't think has been compromised too much between the red bottles and now. Not talking about the original one, because the original Samsara lasted, I mean, it was a monster. It lasted 24 hours plus. It was one of those room filler kind of things. The sillage queen of fragrances. And it's still quite prominent, you know, they haven't weakened it in any way. They've just kind of shifted a couple of the notes and the way it performs and the way it develops mainly. That's how I feel about it at the beginning. Some days I feel like this is ruined. Some days I feel like it's okay, I can deal. But ultimately I'm going to let it go. By Samsara. I will stick to my vintage, and when it's gone, I'll just move on. So, to talk about it in a kind of summary thing, if you've never experienced Samsara before and you want to try the new one, but you're worried about the glory that was the previous one, you're still going to get the essence of what it is. You're still going to get the feeling of the beauty of what this fragrance is. But you only get that for the first 10-20 minutes, and then it starts to behave a little bit differently to how it did. So it became a rebel. It became not what it used to be, and that's what you expect from a reformulation. I will say, as a kind of positive, it's not butchered. Sometimes reformulations can butcher fragrances where it's like, that's not even the same anymore. They still kept it. I mean, if they had changed it too much, I think there would have been an outcry, uproar, villagers with torches bashing down doors. Okay, this isn't Game of Thrones, Tom. What are you talking about? But you know what I mean, right? So, basically, it's Samsara a little bit more fast-forwarded and a lot sweeter and less sandalwood. And I'm going to leave it there because I don't want to go on about it too much, because this will be the last video I ever talk about Samsara at length as a sole subject. It's probably going to feature in a few videos, but yeah. Try it out. I still get at least 6-7 hours out of it, which is good nowadays. And it's not totally ruined, it's just not the same as it was. Anyway, I'm Untitled. Click my logo down there to subscribe. I'm trying to make the world smell better, one video at a time. Goodbye.